Welcome back to the Casual Heresy podcast, everything casually heretical. And this is Spencer.
And Michael.
It's been a long time.
It has been a long time.
How are you doing, Michael?
Doing good. Just ate pizza.
Same.
Was it the same pizza?
It was indeed. Nothing like a za.
Yeah, but you don't put ranch on your pizza. I don't know how I feel about that.
I don't think many people put ranch on their pizza.
Yeah, they do. That's a normal thing, right?
I would say about 15%.
15%.
15%. So there's more on my side than yours. So, and just because some people put it on their pizza doesn't mean they prefer that.
Yeah, but you also don't put ranch on your salad.
I don't put any dressings on my salad.
You're just eating leaves.
Nothing like eating leaves. You only eat one. Howdy.
Hello.
Is this it? Is this Casual Heresy?
This
This
is
is Casual Heresy.
Heck yeah. I feel like I'm in here and I'm in like the sound studio. Like,
should we introduce ourselves, or is that we?
I don't think it's on speaker, right?
Well, I mean, you
They
could...
can't
You
hear
could
us.
yell and it'd catch you
I
probably.
don't think they can hear us.
So with the hat and the headphones, it looks like if you took that off, you should have really short hair.
Yeah,
and
it does.
frosted tips.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I see it. You
Yeah.
definitely look like you're from New York City, and you're like kind of a hipster, probably. I mean,
Dang.
not that any of those things are inherently bad, but
Is that what
might
I
be
should do with
biased
my
against
hair
this.
when I cut it?
Bleached blonde, yeah.
Bleach blonde?
Short and spiky and bleached.
Frosted tips.
Yeah, frosted tips. I think that'd be really classy. You do that. You go to Starbucks. You sip on a little bit of coffee. It's not black. You're not gonna do black coffee. You're gonna do you're gonna do like some sort of latte, but you'll call it masculine because it'll have a cooler name.
Mm-hmm.
You'll do
Also,
something
you should
like that.
have, yeah.
Dude, this is stuff we should be talking about on the podcast because I think this is catching your voice,
Yeah.
which is great.
Oh, no.
Jared needs to be on the
It's not
podcast
on
and
purpose,
Tom.
Sorry.
We need everybody on the
I'm
podcast.
a very unpaid member of this podcast.
Nope, nobody
Where's
gets
the
paid.
financial gain in this?
I'm an uninvited guest of the podcast.
10% of all profits. So
You're
nothing.
doing this. Can we negotiate my royalties right now on air?
I'm just gonna add some Midnight Rain to your podcast.
That sounds like an Axe like brand or something like that.
Midnight Rain.
Introducing Midnight Rain.
How do you know I did that?
And then there's some weird fragrance ad about, like crawling around in the jungle for no apparent reason.
And then there's like an oddly erotic looking panther. Something like that.
Just drops the meds.
This is being video recorded.
It should be.
Yes.
No, it's not, but that's going to be the thumbnail. Do that again. There we go.
What
Got
are you
ourselves
doing?
a class act
What
thumbnail.
is that?
He's an oddly erotic looking panther.
I would like to see this.
You'll see it on the podcast.
You'll see it on the
We'll
podcast.
make him watch it, yeah.
Yep.
Subscribe and follow.
For the thumbnail?
Just a
For the
reminder,
thumbnail.
I
subscribe
can't
and
see the
follow.
thumbnail without listening to this.
Well, you could also just do that in a mirror.
On our bathroom counter.
Yeah.
Just-
Like I'm in there brushing my teeth, and you're like on the counter, like like an oddly erotic
I
panther.
got that mirror in my room. You'll just walk in.
just be like,
How long have you been like that? Too long.
and not long enough.
I'm very concerned about that now.
I watch it. This is you're gonna have to listen to all this and try to edit some out.
Oh yeah, this is gonna get.
Hello? Anybody there?
Yeah.
Hello? Hello?
Well, my one singular topic that I had for today was I went to visit my sister last week, and I got to sit in on a discussion between all the grad students in her community, right?
Yeah.
And they listened to a talk by their bishop, and then they decided to discuss it after. And
Seems reasonable.
it sounded reasonable up until a point. And we got to like half an hour in, and it was so purely intellectual that no one could follow what was going on. There were like three people who were like debating like the grammar of one sentence the bishop said at like minute 5, and like, did he mean by this to exclude XYZ groups from, or to make this vaguely defined so as to cause confusion? Why can't we just discuss what the bishop actually said, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the topic is over intellectualization. I don't know if that's a word, but I just made it up.
It is now.
It is now.
It's now a casual heresy topic.
That is itself a heresy, casually speaking. Over intellectualization.
That's grave matter.
Only if you're in a cemetery. But yeah, I do think it's possible to take any subject and intellectualize it to a point where it's completely lost all value.
Yeah.
It's like we could talk about Tommy's hair.
Luscious.
And like we could talk about this, we could talk about his style of cut, we could talk about his color, everything. But lose total sight of the fact that we're just talking about a man's hair.
He's got that Bieber fever.
Sounds like a lot like the ladder of abstraction.
Do
Yeah, I
tell.
think-
Explain.
Volume up.
Keep going. I'll get back to you.
Okay, he's doing research.
I'm not part of the podcast, but I think you definitely could reach a level of intellectualism that removes all of kind of the value of it. So if you become too absorbed in the abstract, it separates us from what's actually going on in the here and now.
Yeah.
It's like lack of sobriety to me.
It's like distortion. Yeah.
Losing the forest for the trees.
Mm-hmm. Think about like the nihilistic people that like get lost, or like existentialists that spend all their time trying to figure out what the meaning of life is without living life. You figure it out, Tommy?
Yeah, so you want an example of ladder of abstraction? So I can give you one. In terms of a cow, this is from some dude named Hayakawa in his book. Something to do with probably relativism. I don't know, stuff like that. Conversation, language. Okay, so the ladder of abstraction. Starting off, the cow, known to science, ultimately consists of atoms, electrons, etc., according to the present-day scientific inference characteristics that are infinite at this level and ever-changing. This is the process level. So that's the first level. Second level, the cow you perceive is not the word, but the object of experience in which our nervous system abstracts from the totality that constitutes the process cow. Many of the characteristics of the process cow are left out. Level 3, so Bessie, the word Bessie is the name we give to the object of perception of level number 2. The name is not the object, it merely stands for the object and omits reference to many of the characteristics of the object. Level 4, cow. The word cow stands for the characteristics we've abstracted as common to cow. Characteristics peculiar to specific cows are left out. Number 5 is livestock. So when Bessie is referred to as livestock, only those characteristics she has in common with pigs, chickens, goats, etc. are referred to. 6, farm assets. When Bessie is included among farm assets, reference is made only to what she has in common with other sellable items on the farm. 7th level is asset. When Bessie is referred to as an asset, still more of her characteristics are left out. And finally, level 8, wealth. The word wealth is an extremely high level of abstraction, omitting almost all reference to the characteristics. So a farmer could say, oh, I've received a sum of wealth, whatever. Sum of wealth could come from some assets, could be some assets other than from his farm, or it could be from his farm, so farm assets. So this is going back down the ladder. Then it could be from his livestock, or it could be from other things. It could be from his crops, whatever. It could be from his cows, more specifically. It could be from Bessie, more specifically. This dude chopped up his cow, Bessie. And then you just keep going down and get more and more.
Pinpoint specific?
Pinpoint, yeah.
Dang.
More and more detailed.
So what you're saying is we're all farm assets.
Intellectually speaking.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you want to talk about farm assets, I don't want to consider myself a local expert, but
I consider you a local expert.
as someone who works in farm underwriting.
So this concept of over intellectualization, I think that might be a good starting point for you. Kind of also how people have different meanings for different words, like the national anthem, like for the NFL. Like for a lot of people, like it stands for freedom. You know, they do it because they stand up for our military and they want to honor our country. Then for some people, obviously, it doesn't mean freedom. It means racism. It means
Oppression.
oppression. It means the freedom to protest. So they kneel. They do whatever they feel is, satisfies their right to protest oppression. So the flag, as an example, can mean different things for different people. So we like to assume that the things that we believe, everybody else believes the same thing, but that's not always necessarily true because other people are going to have different lived experiences, different understandings of what things are. So you could go as deep as even talking about this Bible. I'm going to have read I mean, everybody reads the same Bible. It's the same words on the page. But everybody's going to have different experiences in their life, different experiences that come from reading the Bible. Just different perceptions of what you're reading. So you could probably delve pretty deep into that more than a simple example, but
That is Tommy T. He's already on the Life Cheers YouTube channel. So you know what his face looks like, and you'll know it by the thumbnail.
oh no.
That was him and his information. His thoughts. Yeah. We need every single one of these guys individually as a guest sometime.
Yep. We do.
This year's going to go by fast, so we got to
It
get
is.
this going.
This year already went by fast.
Yeah.
It feels like yesterday that you and Father Zach were going to Menards every day.
Like three times a day.
Yeah.
We might all be in the same house next year.
This is
So.
true. Casual Heresy roundtables.
I got attic.
No, you don't. I live there right now.
We're moving.
I get the closet.
Yeah. There are no outlets in there.
Okay.
That's okay.
Bring
Just
a generator.
just
There's no
plug a
outlets?
power strip into an
Generator.
extension cord and like feed it through the doorway.
Jared, I guess you and I both have attic.
No. I get to bolt my head whenever I want.
I got Jared's room.
Oh,
Jared's
Jared's
staying.
staying.
Oh yeah, shoot. I got Frank's room is what I mean.
Okay.
Dude, bathroom time.
I'll sleep in there.
I don't know who decides this, but could you imagine like you have a face-to-face meeting with like Father Schuster, and you're like sitting there, and like he's looking at you, he's like, this is a good application, but we found this photo.
Bishop Ricken.
Bishop Rick.
And then like literally you stand up and leave at that moment.
It's
'cause,
like
it's not
7
over.
years of seminary, and they're like, sorry, we can't ordain you.
You're
because of this.
you're like
found this
being
photo.
ordained a deacon, and you're up there talking to Bishop, and he's just like, "What is this?" And he pulls up the photo.
Time out, are you the guy from the podcast picture?
That's not me. It's somebody else.
Oh,
Totally
Jared.
some other guy.
So let's get back to it.
Get back to it. That stuff Tommy was saying was actually really interesting to me. The ladder of what was that called?
I forget what it.
Disambiguity, something.
Yeah.
Um,
Ladder of livestock.
something.
No.
We're all just farm assets.
Yeah, it's just like an intellectual conversation. Can't do it.
It doesn't always fulfill everything you need, It's like I think that happens to bishops and priests a lot. It's like people overanalyze what they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
To the point like, oh, it sounds like they're excluding me from this, or it sounds like they meant this by this, and it doesn't.
It's either they overanalyze or oversimplify.
Mm.
I think that's an issue too.
Oh yeah.
It's
Or
a lot
just-
more simple than you think. They just overdid it. But no,
Mm-mm.
it's not always the case. Like, is this podcast, the title of it, Casual Heresy, is that too intellectual? Or like, is that too simple? Or
I
is
think
that
it's
just
fine.
perfect?
I think people it's a good example of something somebody can overanalyze. I'm sure people don't go around looking for podcasts called Casual Heresy. When they do, they're not counting on it being a Catholic podcast.
So, we're in the last week of Marian consecration,
This is true. We're almost done.
ending on the feast of Our Lady of Guadalupe.
Mm-hmm. We get to consecrate ourselves in a very beautiful church in town called St. Mary's.
Which was supposed to be the cathedral.
Yeah, at one point it was supposed to be intended to be the cathedral. Yeah, we didn't do consecration. We did a bit more hardcore than most people do. We kind of did the disciplines that accompany Exodus 90, along with the 33-day consecration retreat.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
So very hardcore, like Lent, sort of, as long as, or what Lent's supposed to be, sort of.
so like not actually hardcore, but it's hardcore for me because I like sugar in my coffee.
It's hardcore for. Oh, that's very tough.
It's too hard. I can't do it.
I'm not a coffee drinker, so beats me. But there are definitely hard aspects of it. Everybody has their own strengths and weaknesses, which is like awesome, especially when you're in a group and can like see that and grow in that with each other. What is one thing that you've struggled the most, other than your sugar in your coffee, throughout this consecration?
I have struggled the most with the heroic minute, which which is waking up and not hitting the snooze bar and just getting out of bed. Sometimes that happens for me. Most of the time, it sort of happens. I'll actually wake up. I won't hit the snooze bar. I'll get out of bed, take care of, get myself some coffee. But then I usually end up kind of just sitting on my bed, wrapped back up in my blankets, drinking my coffee, staring off into space for like half an hour before I actually do anything. So it's kind of like not effective, but that's easily been the toughest thing for me to do this past month or so.
Something you're learning about, and like you realize that it's something you can work on.
Mm.
We all can grow in some direction. I would say for me, half the time I don't even have an opportunity to do the heroic minute because I don't even set an alarm sometimes. So whenever I get up, I get up. But I'm like more of a morning person, so I will get up on time anyways. So the heroic minute isn't like a huge issue for me. No snacking's always hard.
Yeah, that is, yes.
Especially as like, or what I used to be, I guess, an athlete.
You're an athlete.
I still do things, but like going for a run and like lifting and then like only having 3 meals a day and having to plan that out can be tough. Like we're not here complaining; we're just explaining.
Yeah, because actually not complaining is something we're supposed to.
Yeah, something we're supposed to do. Yeah, supposed to avoid complaining. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this last week. It's
How are you going to celebrate?
a feast of food,
Feast of food?
snacking all day. No,
Constant snack. What are you doing tomorrow?
honestly, I want a snack.
Huh?
Sort of want a snack tomorrow. I don't see anything else as being like a benefit. Like I'm not gonna just sit down and watch TV and play video games all day. I have schoolwork to do at an undisclosed university in an undisclosed city in an unknown state that has carried this country further than many people know.
This is true. You could say it's moved us forward. Oh, that was kind of painful. Yeah. What are you going to do? How are you going to celebrate on Saturday? How are you going to celebrate?
Honestly, probably just if Alex isn't busy doing anything, probably just watch movies.
Watch movies?
Probably just listen to music. No, I'm kidding. All of my music should be fine
Yeah.
at this point.
I haven't cut out much music. We're supposed to listen to uplifting music. And it's like most of my music is uplifting, like on some level or another.
I've taken out a lot of music, and I still have to go through my 700 song, over 700 song rock playlist and just take a bunch of songs out. Because I used to just listen to some not so moving things, not moving you forward.
They're moving you somewhere.
Further down than up. I just can't wait to do these reflections too. I've got Tommy now. Tommy and I did like a couple reflections with each other on my YouTube channel.
Oh, yeah?
And then he had to quarantine, so we couldn't do any more. And then I was gone.
Oh, dang.
And now we're back. The final week, we can finish it off strong.
Nice.
And use the thumbnail of his.
That should be the thumbnail for everything.
Should be the cover photo of Life Cheers.
It's going to become my profile picture on Facebook.
Good.
That's what I'm going to do when we consecration. I'm going to go on Facebook and make that my profile photo.
That's what I should do tomorrow.
Facebook?
I should go on Facebook.
Ooh.
Life Cheers page. There's so many people that I like haven't connected with that have liked the page. Because I got some friends to invite all their friends, all their Facebook friends to the page. And I increased by like over 100.
For real?
So I should
Dang.
send something out there so they can subscribe to hear this, hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah.
Subscribe to that YouTube channel and listen to this.
For those of you wondering why tomorrow is a day we can actually do things, tomorrow is the feast of the Immaculate Conception. So that is a solemnity and a holy day of obligation, so that means that we fast from fasting for a day.
Yeah.
Because you're not really supposed to fast on a feast day.
Let alone a solemnity.
Let alone a solemnity. The funny thing is, like, every day is some kind of feast day, just about.
Mm-hmm.
So I might just start living, like, permanently, like, Exodus 90, except for feast days. Like any kind of
I think you'd fall into sin with indulging too much.
no, you wouldn't actually feast.
Oh, okay.
You just like live normally.
That's what you're saying.
But then like on the days where it's not a feast day, you fast.
Gotcha. But you'd never fast because it's every day's a feast day.
Well, not every day. I think like last Wednesday or something.
The one before St. Francis Xavier
Yeah,
was nothing
there was like nothing.
Hmm.
It happens.
until it's our feast day.
It is our feast day.
Casual Heresy.
Casually. We have a feast day.
What day?
That's a good question.
You tell us
April
out
1st.
there. April 1st. Yes. Our feast day. Let's go. Nobody will catch on to that one.
We should tell Father to advertise it. I wonder if he would.
I just want to see the look on his face for us asking him to advertise our feast day.
We've decided that we have a feast day. Please advertise it and say a mass.
And say it's a holy day of obligation.
It would be hilarious if we became saints and they gave us a feast day, a duo feast day, you know, like Peter and Paul or
Mm-hmm.
Cyril and Methodius.
Mm.
Them.
Two
And then they made that feast day on April 1st.
two peas in a pod.
And then in the Diocese of Green Bay, that was a holy day of obligation. Because Milwaukee's not. Let's be honest.
Okay, they won't
Let's be
care.
honest.
They won't care that one of the two guys is from the archdiocese.
The Archdiocese? The Archdiocese? There's only one The Archdiocese. The Archdiocese.
St. Peter's.
Yeah, Rome. Not Milwaukee.
It's the archdiocese of the state.
There's not the Superior Diocese.
I never intended it to be.
The Superior Diocese in the state
Oh.
is the Diocese of Superior.
Oh. Oh. All of their people go to Milwaukee because
What?
it's superior.
What? Well, that's not true.
It's not.
That's not true here. What are you gonna do? Move back to Milwaukee?
Sure.
Move back to the Archdiocese? Border's real close.
It is. How far down the road? Is it like a half hour?
20 minutes.
I'll have to think about it.
Don't do it.
Just kidding.
Stay in Green Bay. Stay in the diocese in Green Bay. It's nice here.
The last 10 minutes of this podcast is just going to be you begging me to stay here.
You gonna abandon Big Dog Rick?
Sure, I can't do that. Still got to give him a dab.
You do. And I paid, what was it, $50?
I think it was. Yeah.
$50. You dab on the bish.
That sounds better when you just say bish.
The bishop. Dab on the bishop. That doesn't sound a lot better.
Yeah, it doesn't.
This is all staying in. I'm just gonna cut out the dead air. It's just gonna be this.
Or just not and have it be silent for a couple minutes.
Everyone's like, "What's going on?" I'm like,
Is there something wrong with my technology? Nope, it's just the podcast.
It's the podcast. We should do that. Let's put a couple minutes of silence randomly right here.